Welcome to opening day at the NCAA Women's College World Series. Game 1 features the Huskies from the University of Washington and the Big East champion DePaul Blue Demons.
Right before we take the field, I'm always really nervous.
Being at the College World Series means that we've been rewarded for our great play.
This season I've had a torn tendon in the wrist, dislocated shoulder, I got hit in the head with a rise ball. On May 19th, I tore my ACL, but I'm cleared to play and nothing's gonna stop me now.
I'm actually not as smiley as everyone thinks I am. I have a game face almost 24/8.
To be here again is such an honor, playing with some of the best teams in the country, some of the best players in the world.
That's my game face.
We're not satisfied with just being here. We're here, like all the other 7 teams are here to do, is to win a national championship.
I just said we have the chance to be the first.
We've been waiting the whole year to be back at the World Series.
Every day you come to the ball field, like rankings don't matter, nothing matters, it's about who's the best that day.
So we're gonna go out and step on that field like we're the #1 seed, just like everyone else should, and we're gonna play our game.
Piercing moment.
I'm thinking. Tripping over my own feet in the middle of a game, and I sprained my ankle.
What was my name again?
Striking out in an at-bat and then coming into the dugout and falling down the stairs.
I feel like I'm under some big lights, so I'm kind of sweating a little bit.
Welcome to the 2007 Women's College World Series.
Are we done here?
In fact, we are just beginning the 2007 NCAA Women's College World Series. Game 1 on opening day features the 14 seed DePaul and the 6 seed Washington. Coming up later this afternoon on the top half of the bracket, it's ASU Northwestern, then a doubleheader tonight, the 4-5 matchup, and the opening game for the top seed and defending national champions from the University of Arizona. Welcome to Don E. Porter Hall of Fame Stadium in Oklahoma City. Beth Mowens, along with Olympic gold medalist Jessica Mendoza. And Jessica, DePaul is here for the second time in the last 3 years. They are the lowest seed to advance to Oklahoma City.
DePaul's been the underdog all season long, but they don't mind. Last weekend, they went in surprising a lot of people, beating Oklahoma. Huge upset in just 2 games. They were led in their offense with Sandy Bojic, hitting a 2-run blast in game 1. I'll tell you what, their offense never looked back as they continued the sweep. They plan to do much the same this series as they are yet again the underdog.
And they will be taking on the University of Washington back at the World Series for the 8th time, but their motto this year is be the first. They are still seeking that elusive first national title.
Yes, they only have 3 players on the team that have ever been to the Women's College World Series, and they are led by experience by senior Dina Tyson, who is also leading the team with over a 400 batting average and 17 home runs. She is going to be one of the catalysts for this team and this offense this series.
It's the Washington Huskies out of the Pac-10 and the Big East champion DePaul Blue Demons as we open up the Women's College World Series.
Get set! 1, 2, 3, get set!
At first base, Brian Smith. And at third base, Gary Bullard.
This ESPN production is available on ESPN HD, presented by Olivia. NCAA Women's College World Series coming your way with our opening game from Hall of Fame Stadium in Oklahoma City. DePaul taking on Washington. And for the Blue Demons, their head coach, Gene Lenti, in his 26th season. He has more wins than any coach in any sport in DePaul history. Has his club back here at the World Series for the 4th time since 1999. And here is the Blue Demon lineup.
Hi, my name's Sandy Bojic. I'm from Riverside, Illinois, and I played high school softball on Brookfield Zoo property.
Hi, my name is Amber Patton. I'm from Forsyth, Illinois, and I have a twin sister, and I have situs inversus, meaning all my major organs are reversed.
Hi, I'm Marcy Willis. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I just turned 21 on Monday.
Hi, my name is Jackie Tooley Fisher. I'm from Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I'm the only athlete competing in the College World Series from the state of New Jersey.
Hi, my name is Kate Sheeks. I'm from St. John, Indiana, and I'm getting married this December 1st, but not to Derek Jeter.
Hi, my name's Becca Tiniak, and I'm from Simi Valley, California, and I never saw snow until I came to DePaul this year.
Hi, I'm Linda Sika from Warrenton, Pennsylvania, and I have a twin brother named Peter.
I'm Stephanie Blaggage from Bloomingdale, Illinois, and my phone bill is higher than most people's mortgages.
My name is Shay Warren. I'm from Schaumburg, Illinois, and I batted righty my whole life, but this year I switched to a lefty slapper.
And here is the Blue Demons batting order, and it includes Amber Patton, who's hit safely in every NCAA tournament game, 600 in the postseason for Patton, followed by Marcy Willis, 441 on the year with runners in scoring position, and has helped DePaul set a school record for home runs this season. And they will be facing Danielle Lawrie, the sophomore from British Columbia, with a 29-11 record and a new single-season strikeout mark.
Look a lot to see Danielle Lawrie go hard in, hard out with her screwball, her curveball, but her best pitch is her changeup, and that will set up all of her other pitches.
And one of the most experienced at this Women's College World Series when it comes to playing in big games. She has played for the Canadian national team, and in fact, already on her resume in this stadium is a win over Team USA in international competition. So she will face Sandy Vojic in the first pitch of the Women's College World Series. The winner will advance to a Friday night winners matchup tomorrow night against either Northwestern or Arizona State. And even though she's the leadoff hitter, as you touched upon earlier, Jessica, she has some power with those 12 home runs this season, including the big one in the Super Regional last weekend.
And her being in this leadoff spot, obviously she does have some power, but something that she's learned a lot this year is to track and see the ball better, because she does need to get on base. That's really her priority. So as much as she wants to take the big hacks, hit the long ball, you know, this first inning, her main objective is to get on base.
And that's one of the reasons why Jean Lenti feels comfortable putting her in that leadoff spot, is the fact that her strikeouts are way down this year, so she's getting the ball in play much more. Shallow right is Lauren Greer coming on to make the catch, one down. Defensively for Washington, well, let's talk about the right fielder, the junior Lauren Greer, a 3-year starter. She had the best fielding percentage in the Pac-10 Conference, and over the course of the last 2 seasons, Lauren has not committed an error out in right field. The lefty slapper to third base. Nicole Moyen takes care of Amber Patton, 2 away. Hall of Fame Stadium, and a breezy day here in Oklahoma. Marcy Willis in the 3 spot will step in, the junior from Chicago.
And there's Lawrie's changeup. We're going to be seeing that a lot all game long, and as you saw with Willis, you can't pick it up very easily. So she was already halfway through her swing before I think she even recognized it.
Her home run and RBI numbers, the best on the team this year, tied for the team lead in home runs and drove in the most, and falls behind in the county, 0-2. DePaul coming in 46-11 on the year. They went undefeated in winning the regular season championship in the Big East, and then have swept the opposition so far in the NCAA tournament.
We talked a lot about DePaul being the underdog earlier, but Eugene Lenti loves that. He says we're the most dangerous team because people don't expect, they don't always play up for us. They don't expect us to win, and because of that, they get the wins.
One of the things that they have always prided themselves in is coming in here and playing real loose, playing very aggressive. And they will take chances on the base paths. And obviously with the new home run record this year, it's the most power they've ever brought to the series with them. Willis strikes out, 3 up and 3 down in the top of the first as Lawrie takes care of business for Washington. The Huskies coming up for the first time next. NCAA Women's College World Series, we move to the bottom of the first inning. Washington coming up for the first time. And DePaul taken care of in the top half of the order. And the head coach for the Huskies, Heather Tarr, in her 3rd season. And she was a former player here, played in the national championship game during the course of her career. A lot of experience, and looking to get that elusive first national championship. Here is the order for the Huskies.
Hi, my name is Ashley Charters. I'm from Beaverton, Oregon. I keep a World Series room key and a note from past players in my back pocket.
Hi, my name is Marnie Kozo. I'm from Renton, Washington. My teammates call me Moose.
Hi, my name is Dominique Lestraps. I'm from Laguna Niguel, California, and I collect MAC makeup because I love fashion and I'm really into makeup.
I'm Dina Tyson. I'm from Corona, California, and I have to smooth out the dirt before I bat.
Hi, my name is Lauren Greer. I'm from Placentia, California, and my brother Keith plays football for the New Orleans Saints.
Hi, I'm Danielle Lawrie. I'm from Vancouver, Canada, and I'm the first Canadian to play softball at the University of Washington.
Hi, my name is Alicia Matthews. I'm from Olympia, Washington, and I got engaged in March.
Hi, my name is Ashton Watson. I'm from Garden Grove, California, and I would like to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Hi, my name is Nicole Million. I'm from Huntington Beach, California, and I love to surf.
Ashley Charters will be in the lead-off spot. She is the catalyst, hitting .393 on the year, and when she's on base, she's a terror. 33 stolen bases for Charters. Koziel in the 2 spot led the Pac-10 in sacrifices this year, and the Huskies love to play the fundamentals and use that sacrifice bunt. They will try and do it today against Tracy Ottix, the senior from Edmonds, Washington, 21-2 on the year, and had the 4th best ERA in the country this season.
There's no doubt to what Tracy Ottix likes to throw. You're going to see a lot of drop balls with her. She likes to keep the ball down in the zone. She's pitching well. You'll see a lot of weak ground balls. But another thing that she likes to talk about, she likes to come inside to hitters. And that's something rare in pitchers, and that's probably her favorite. Her favorite pitch would be that drop ball inside.
She has been terrific in the postseason in particular. Ottix 3-0, has not given up a run and really shut down Oklahoma last weekend in Norman. Charters, the junior from Newburgh, Oregon. An all Pac-10 selection this year. Long play over to first, handled by Patton, 1 down. Here is the defense for the Blue Demons, and right next to Patton is freshman shortstop Shea Warren. Turned the first ever triple play in DePaul history in April. She draws a lot of comparisons to Derek Jeter at short, but would prefer to be compared to Joe Creedy, who's her favorite major leaguer. And an infield hit for Marnie Koziel. And Washington has a runner on board with 1 out.
Koziel jumping on that first pitch from Ottix down in the zone and doing just that, just driving it right back up the middle, ground ball. Vojic making a good play and getting a glove on it, but Koziel's just too fast.
That'll bring up Dominique Lestraps in the 3 spot, the senior from Mission Viejo and one of the Huskies that has World Series experience. Foul ball. The Huskies come in at 40-17, finished in 3rd place in the Pac-10. And how about the progress that Heather Tar's club made this year? They were picked in the preseason to finish 6th in the conference. And here they are, the number 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. Slapped right at Patton, ricochets to Ottix, not in time to first. 2 on with 1 out.
Well, the pitch before, Lestraps hit a weaker ground ball, and now she just slaps this line drive right at Patton, who is playing in, runs the ball out. You see Patton, oh gosh, right off her chin it looked like.
Good hustle by Straps. So a couple of infield singles, and Washington threatening here in the bottom of the 1st, and the very dangerous Dina Tyson steps in with that .406 average and the 17 home runs. Swinging at the first pitch, 0-1.
For Amber Patton, too, on that last play. I mean, there's not too much you can do. There's a reason why they call it the hot corner. And when you have a slapper that has speed up, you got to play her in. And then Lestraps with her power just line drives it right off her body.
Tyson, the senior from Corona, California, the first African-American on a softball scholarship at the University of Washington. A trailblazer for this Husky program, a lot of power. What's amazing to me is the turnaround. 16 home runs in her first 3 years, and now 17 this year.
She's really made a huge transformation, and she didn't hit above 250 her first 3 years, and now hitting over 400. I mean, talk about being a senior leader for this team and really turning things around.
2-1 to Tyson. A lot of the credit, she says, goes to just simply relaxing in the batter's box and not trying to do too much. And look at the big jump this year as a senior. Full count now to Dina Tyson.
Audick's really still trying to stay down in the zone. The best part about that is you're not going to get usually a lot of extra base hits. If they're going to get like what you've seen so far, it's going to be singles here and there, but hopefully with the way she pitches, nothing will be up out of the park.
Full count to Tyson, fouls it off. Back-to-back infield singles for Koziel and Lestraps. 2 on board here for the Huskies quickly. Bottom of the first inning, game 1 at the Women's College World Series. And a big strikeout for Audick's. 2 down.
Audick's just doing a great job setting up Tyson with these pitches. She's been going drop ball. We talked about how she likes to come inside, and she's doing it with Tyson, and that is a tough pitch to hit. If you see this ball break in, down and in on the hands of Tyson, that's not an easy ball to catch up to.
So now with 2 on and 2 outs, it's Lauren Greer, the junior from Placentia, California. She has been terrific this year with 2 outs, 17 runs batted in with 2 down.
Well, the big thing about Audick's also is that she has worked a lot on not just her moving pitches, but having them break different amounts. So she can throw a drop ball more for a strike, and then as you saw with Tyson, she can also throw the drop ball that breaks 3 to 4 inches. And because of that, these hitters don't know if this is the pitch that they can swing at or if this is the pitch that it's going to move away from their bat.
Misses to Greer, 3-0. She's been swinging a big bat so far in the NCAA tournament. Lauren hit a home run in their Super Regional final game as they swept the University of Alabama out in Seattle in 2 straight. Slow roller to first, and the tag applied by Willis. There's only 17 names on the DePaul roster, but they played like 300. When we come back, Holly Rowe with a story of some Hollywood inspiration in Chicago. Hall of Fame Stadium, partly cloudy skies here in Oklahoma City as we move to the top of the 2nd inning. DePaul and Washington, opening day. And the first game of our quadruple header coming your way, all available on ESPN HD. And the Blue Demons went down in order in the top of the first against Danielle Lawrie, so it's 4, 5, and 6 in the order. Jackie Teruli Fisher will lead things off, the sophomore from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Swing on the first pitch, popped right up to Tyson, 1 down. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, DePaul is called the underdog. They've upset teams. But Eugene Lenti says, hey, in the past, you may want to call us Cinderella, but now we feel like we're Attila the Hun. He said, people keep thinking that they're the underdogs, but they went through the Big East undefeated. They swept Oklahoma at Oklahoma. He said, our players took great pride and watched this movie 300 that came out that chronicled the battle of 300 Spartans who held off 25,000 Persians for 3 days. He said, we feel like we are those 300 Spartans, that no matter what, if we do it together, we can beat anybody. And so far in this tournament, they have.
Well, they have indeed, Holly. And really, you can't call them underdogs anymore because of what they have accomplished in the last 10 years. They are amongst some of the best in the country in getting to the Women's College World Series. And Kate Sheeks now with 1 out will step in.
I love that Coach Lenti, obviously these girls are students as well, but kind of integrating a little history, and Thermopylae is one of my personal favorite battles of all time, just because 300 Spartans versus 25,000 Persians. It's unbelievable. I think it's a great story for these girls for motivation.
And here's why they are no longer Cinderella and why they are much more like Attila the Hun. In the last 10 years, you talk about the top 10 programs in terms of getting to this Women's College World Series, and DePaul is amongst the very best. Of course, Arizona has been here 9 of the last 10 years, including winning the championship last year. They are the top seed again this season. Head coach Mike Candrea will be seeking an 8th national title. They'll be playing in our nightcap tonight.
Well, I'm talking to Coach Heather Tarr of Washington a little bit about DePaul, and she's like, you know what? We're the underdog in this tournament, but DePaul's the underdog in this game, but they're the kind of team that sneaks up on you. They're like a sniper. You know they're gonna shoot you, but you don't know from who, and I think that's DePaul's biggest asset, is they don't have the big name players, even though they have a lot of big name athletes, and it's really a team effort for DePaul. And for a lot of these other teams, Washington included, they don't know who's gonna step up, and it's scary as a coach. Who do we go after?
Two now to Kate Sheeks. Well, here's the productivity that has really gotten DePaul through to this Women's College World Series. 25-2 outscoring opponents in this NCAA tournament. And it's come from all different parts of their order. Sheeks gets under it, and that will drift out of play. Kate's a senior from St. John, Indiana, an all Big East performer. She's hit safely in all 5 of their NCAA tournament games. Enjoying the best season of her career with new career highs in batting average, home runs, runs scored, hits. And another strikeout victim for Lawrie. That is number 2 for Danielle. Now, Lawrie is a terrific strikeout pitcher. That's 424 now on the season.
See, Lawrie going after with this drop ball, starting it already low, and Sheeks battling her up until this point. I think thought she could maybe get a piece of it, but it broke a lot further than I think she thought.
Congratulations to Danielle, yesterday named first team All-American, and her strikeout count per game is 3rd best in the country this year. Becca Heteniak, the freshman from Northridge, California, and the Big East Rookie of the Year this season. Hits and is also the second pitcher that Jean Lenti can rely on.
You see a lot of these righties actually backing off the plate, and I think that attests a lot to Lawrie's speed right now, coming in hard to some of these righties, so they're backing off the plate a little bit, trying to make an adjustment.
So Lawrie adjusts as well and tries to nibble on the outside part of the plate. 1-2 the count to Heteniak.
That must have been some sort of game plan, because you saw the same with Katie Sheeks when she was in the batter's boxes. She kind of backed off more than she normally does. I think that that's what they're going to try to go to, maybe sit on her screwball.
Down the line and foul. And a terrific grab down the line by the fan out there.
He was ready. He's got his glove on.
A web gem from the bleachers.
Woo! Look at that. Oh!
Oh, great reaction. Still 1-2 to Heteniak. Grounder to third. Moyen bounces it to Tyson. Side retired. First 6 sent down in order. Washington coming back around. It's the NCAA Women's College World Series presented on ESPN by Dick's Sporting Goods. Scoreless, DePaul and Washington as we move to the bottom of the second in game 1 of our quadruple header today. It's opening day in Oklahoma City. DePaul, the lowest seed to make it here, the 14 seed. And the Washington Huskies, the 6th seed in the tournament. It's 6, 7, and 8 in the order. Danielle Lawrie, the pitcher, will lead things off. just over 300 on the season, even better, 444 as a leadoff hitter. For more on Danielle, let's check in with Holly.
Well, Danielle has really shown up for this game in the pitching circle, but not so lucky her family. Dad Russ is stranded right now at the Phoenix airport. He's trying to get here. I've seen Danielle look up into the stands trying to see if he's made it yet, but not so lucky. Guys, she is doing a great job, though. Very comfortable on this field. She actually upset Team USA in the World Cup here 2 years ago. She said, this might be my first College World Series here, but I feel very comfortable on this field. So far, that's showing. Now, if Dad can just get here.
I know what that's like. Nothing like the support from your parents, and you know when they're there.
Well, and Dad played a significant role along with her older brother in her development. They used to catch for Danielle in the backyard up in British Columbia. And in fact, her younger brother Brett is a member of the Canadian junior national team. And Lawrie draws the leadoff walk for the Huskies. We are at Donnie Porter Hall of Fame Stadium here in Oklahoma City. Opening day at the Women's College World Series. Game 1 of our quadruple header. It's DePaul and Washington. Beth Mowens, Jessica Mendoza, and Holly Rowe with you. Coming up next in this half of the bracket, it's Arizona State and Northwestern. The winner of that game will face the winner of this matchup tomorrow night here in Oklahoma City. The day 1 losers will start to try and work their way out of the losers bracket on Saturday, and they face the daunting task of playing 2 on Saturday and a couple more on Sunday to try and get to the championship series. The bunt popped up in fair territory, dropped by Teruli Fisher, but heads up play by Patton to make the throw down to second to get the leadoff runner, Danielle Lawrie.
This is a tough play as a base runner because obviously you got to get back on the pop fly. You see Teruli Fisher reacting off this bunt, making a great leap to try to catch this, but unable to hang on to it. Meanwhile, Danielle Lawrie trying to get back to first base. They're able to throw her out easily at second. Really an awesome effort. She needs some bubble gum in that glove, make it stick.
So with 1 down and 1 on, it's Ashlyn Watson. Teruli Fisher, who started playing when she was just 5 years old back home in New Jersey. Actually started out playing t-ball, she told us, and she hit one over one of the neighbors' houses and said, hey, maybe you should take up a bat and ball sport full time. And so that's how she got into softball. Watson's a sophomore from Garden Grove, California. That one's fouled out of play. .176 on the season. She's driven in 7 on the year.
You're seeing now that there's a runner on first base for DePaul. For DePaul's defense, Alex is actually going a lot more up in the zone because they're going to be trying to move these runners. She doesn't want them to be able to do that easily, and that's where the pop-up from Matthews came, is because she's going a little bit more up in the zone than she normally does, which is smart with the runner on first base. Try to get him to hit some fly balls. Don't let him advance that runner.
Onyx ahead in the count, 1-2. Off of Teruli Fisher's glove, and the base runner Matthews advances to second.
We talked about that bubble gum earlier when she made that diving catch. The ball didn't be able to stick into her glove, and we see the same thing going on here. Looks like she was just trying to almost frame it and catch it before she had it.
She'll be charged with the pass ball, so a runner in scoring position now for Watson. 2-2 pitch. Foul. It's Heather Tarr had to jump out of the way. Heather, as we mentioned, a former player for the Washington Huskies. She was a member of the 1996 team that made it all the way to the finals. Assistant coach Eve Gaw was also on that team. It featured some big names, including Sarah Pickering, Jen Klein, Michelle Church, all a member of that 96 team, under the direction of Teresa Wilson, who is now at Texas Tech. And Heather has been a real stabilizing force up in Seattle after they went through turmoil there for a year or so.
When asking the players if they could use one word to describe Heather Tarr, Dominique Lestrap said relatable. Because she's been here, she's been to the World Series, she's played for Washington, she understands the academics, and when she's talking to us, we know that she's been there and she's done that.
Good at bat here for Ashlyn Watson, making Oddix throw a lot of pitches. The Huskies out of Seattle, they finished in 3rd place in the Pac-10. They are here for the 8th time, looking for their first national championship. They came close in '96 and '99. And Oddix goes down and in for the strikeout, her second, 2 down.
And that's a pitch we've been talking about. It's her favorite pitch, and you can see why. Look at this ball start right there over the plate and break right into the hands and right below the bat of Watson. That is a tough pitch, and you see her try to keep her hands inside that when she was swinging, but she didn't have a chance.
So now it's up to the number 9 hitter, Nicole Moyen, the senior from Westminster, California, and the first member of her family to go to college. Quite a moment for Nicole a few years back. Slapped that one foul off her leg.
You see the strikeout pitch that she threw Watson on the movement. You see these first 2 pitches now to Moyen are really not moving. They're more right there in the strike zone, kind of setting up that pitch. So when they see the pitch in the same zone, they're thinking, all right, I can hit this. It's not moving a lot, and then all of a sudden she gives them 3 to 4 inches of break.
Looking to keep Nicole's bat quiet here. She drove in a run in both of their super regional wins, but is punched out. 3 strikeouts for Oddix. 3 left on base through the first 2 innings for Washington. We are scoreless and headed to the 3rd. Scoreless as we move to the top of the 3rd. DePaul and Washington, bottom of the Blue Demons order coming up. 7, 8, and 9. And they will try and get the first hit off of Danielle Lawrie, who has retired the first 6 she has faced for the Huskies. Laurie's struck out a pair. She's number 3 all time in Washington in strikeouts already in just her 2nd season. And will probably do something that a couple of young Americans have done in the past. Stacey Newman comes to mind, Kat Osterman comes to mind. Lawrie next year, one of the favorites to make the Canadian Olympic team, and will probably have to take the year off, and in fact told us yesterday that her plan is to redshirt next season at Washington to focus on the Olympics.
And as it did for Kat and Stacey, I feel like having that year, obviously to go to the Olympic Games, unbelievable competition, and then come back and play college. She's talked about doing that already in the summers, giving her that confidence. If she can strike out some of the best hitters in the world, she can strike out anybody in college.
Facing Linda Sika for DePaul. Sika, the senior from Warrington, Pennsylvania, was a member of the team that was here 2 years ago in '05. They called themselves Unranked and Unleashed. And unfortunately for them, it was 2 and barbecue as they went 0-2 and were sent home early. So Sika looking to stay a little longer on this trip to Oklahoma City. 2-1 misses away, 3-1. This is a DePaul team that won last weekend at the Super Regionals in Norman, just down the road from here. And so Gene Lenti had his team stay in town. They didn't bother going home. They just came right up here to Oklahoma City.
And for Lawrie, I think part of the reason you're going to see her pitch most of these games.
And there is a violation, the time violation of the 5 and 10 second rule, and a ball 4 called, and Sika gets the walk.
This is something we've seen a lot of throughout this season, and the umpires have told us they're going to be calling it a lot more. And basically the pitcher has 10 seconds to pitch the ball, and you see a lot of these pitchers, if they hesitate, obviously the umpires are counting, and as you saw there, they're ready to call it.
They try and sacrifice the runner over, but the play made by Moyen to get Sika down at second base, so the sacrifice ineffective.
You see Moyen was actually playing her way in. She was all over that sacrifice bunt. It was a pretty hard bunt, but Moyen was right there to get it. You see she's right there, one hops it, doesn't even hesitate, comes up and throws the ball down to second.
Nicely done by Nicole, so now 1 on and 1 out for Shea Warren. She squares to bunt as well. The runner will steal second as Stephanie Blaggage is in safely, and a runner in scoring position now for DePaul.
You see Warren showing bunt, and Blaggage able to get in just under the tag. She kind of does this little bit of a slide by to try to get around the tag, but she beat the throw.
6th stolen base of the year for Blaggage. Warren showing bunt again. Stephanie, the sophomore from Bloomingdale, Illinois, former two-time Illinois High School Player of the Year. The state of Illinois very well represented, not only on this DePaul roster, but for Northwestern. 2 Chicago teams are here. Northwestern coming up next against Arizona State. Bunt laid down foul, 1 and 2.
It's obvious that Coach Lenti is really just trying to move this runner using Shea Warren, who's at the bottom of this lineup. He's got some speed, not a lot of power. To, put the ball in play, preferably the right side. If we can get a ground ball to the right side of the field, we're going to be able to move Blaggage over to third base and have the top of our lineup hopefully be able to hit her in.
Two and 2 now to Warren. As they check down to third base. Umpire Jerry Bark says nope, did not go around. Paul Eds is behind the plate. Brian Smith is down at first base. The men in blue here in game 1 of the day. 2-2 to Warren. Backhanded by Lawrie. Her throw to first gets away from Tyson, and here comes Blaggage in to score. DePaul aggressive on the base pass, and they generate their first run without a hit here in the 3rd inning.
Warren really has perfect placement with this slap, making the pitcher move off the mound. Lawrie, normally a good fielding pitcher, kind of takes her time and then throws this ball away, which allows Blaggage to come in for the run.
The error charge to the pitcher, Lawrie. So Blaggage, who gets on board with the fielder's choice, steals a base, and then comes around to score. It's 1-0 DePaul.
And it was that walk that was kind of uncertain, with the 10-second rule that started off this inning, putting Seka on first base, and then with the steal by Blaggage, really setting up the bottom of this lineup with no hits, able to get a run.
And as you just saw, 38-3 this year when they score first. Very good news for the Blue Demons. And it is the top of the order. And Sandy Vojic, the junior from Riverside, Illinois, flew out to right field in her first at-bat. Goes that way again. This will be foul.
I think one of the best parts about DePaul's offense is the fact that, as we talked about, they don't have necessarily the big hitters that you look out for. You never know when the runs are going to come from, and that was Heather Tarr's worst fear is, they're like the snipers, as she said. You don't know where it's going to come from, and in this case, the bottom of the lineup is usually the last place you look.
Shea Warren over at first base. 14 stolen bases on the season. Staying close right now with the bat in Vojic's hands. Vojic couldn't keep up with that one from Lawrie. 1 and 2. runner going. Vojic fouls it back as Lenti had the hit and run on.
Lawrie keeping the ball up in the zone a little bit. I think trying to blow it by these DePaul hitters and really not giving them a chance to maybe put the ball in play. I think she's probably now trying. She was going a little bit more with her drop earlier on, but now I think she's trying to keep it up. Maybe a little in and out, just trying to make these hitters chase.
Does not chase that one away. Vojic playing the best softball of the season at the plate. She's hit safely now in 12 of the last 13 games. A third of her RBI production has come in this last third of the season. Runner goes, Warren safe as she slides by the tag. And Vojic strikes out for the second out.
Matthews actually having a really good throw on what was a changeup by Lawrie, which usually is a hard pitch to throw out a runner. You see it's an off-speed pitch, and then Matthews comes up and puts a great throw down. And it looks like Warren gets right past the tag. She could have possibly nicked the jersey, but it looks like she got right by her. Charters seems to think otherwise.
And that's what Heather Tarr comes out to argue.
Lawrie going with her off speed, and it is right there, but you see Vojic. She'd already had her hips turned, ready to hit it. Matthews, I'm really impressed with her throw on that changeup. Because usually those are the easy pitches to steal off of.
So that'll bring up Amber Patton. The infield pop-up, Lestrapes back on the edge of the grass, side retired. Not a hit in the inning, but DePaul managed to generate the first run of the game on the throwing error from Lawrie to score Blaggage. Here in Oklahoma City, and let's take a look at our Coke Zero game track. DePaul with the 1-0 lead. Tracy Ottix has struck out 3 in her first 2 innings of work, and Blaggage with the stolen base, and then coming around to score the only run of the game.
Tracy Ottix coming out the first 2 innings, actually throwing the ball harder than she normally throws. I think that has a lot to do with nerves, excitement. I mean, here you are, Hall of Fame Stadium, College World Series, and because she's throwing the ball harder, though, her ball wasn't breaking as much. And I think that's why Washington was able to get those 2 hits in the first inning and hit them hard. The thing with Ottix is that when she doesn't throw as hard, her ball moves more. She needs to let off a little bit on that excitement and just pitch her game, and I think now that they have a 1-run lead, she might be able to do that.
Facing the top of the order here, Charters, Koziel, and Lestrapes. The other thing that Ottix does so well is she gets those ground ball outs, and so far all of the outs for DePaul, she's either struck them out or she's caused the ground outs and let her defense do the job behind her.
And I think that's got to be one of the hardest things for a pitcher. I know, just being here in college and for the World Cup, just the nerves that come into a packed stadium like this. For a pitcher not to want to just take that ball and throw it as hard as you can. But for Ottix, her game is not in her speed, it's in her drop ball movement.
Career best numbers this year for Tracy in earned run average, strikeouts, shutouts. She's lost just twice all season. And a nice way for her to finish her career after she was injury-riddled last year. And she says the experience of going through that tough time has made her stronger this year. She was one of their 2 pitchers that got them here back in 2005 as a sophomore, along with Megan Heitink, who was out this year with an injury. That's drilled for the gap and big trouble. Charters rolling around to second for the stand-up double for the leadoff hitter for the Huskies.
Charters in the leadoff position is known for her speed, but here you see her power. Taking this outside pitch, driving it into that left center field gap. All the way to the fence and standing up at second base.
So Charters has now hit safely in 6 of her last 7 games for the Huskies and is in scoring position for Koziol. Set a new Washington record this year with 16 sacrifices. That was best in the Pac-10. And had an infield single her first time up. There is the lay down, and it's foul.
One of the things Audax had talked about in the offseason, improving her game from last year to this year, was really trying to use her changeup more. So over the summer, she was really trying to make it better so she feel more confident with it and throw it more. In this game, we've yet to really see it, and I think that these hitters are getting their timing down with her. They're laying off the drop ball, it's moving more, and they're hitting her. I think this would be a good time for her to kind of mix speeds and throw off these Washington hitters.
You see the clandestine operation going on over there with Gene Lenti and their pitching coach Lindsey Schwinard. They'll both send out a set of signals.
I don't think anyone will be picking them.
Fair ball, the throw over to first, the runner trying to advance and dumping in safely is Charters. Koziol able to move the runner over with 1 out.
And Koziol's job is to move Charters to third base, and rarely when hitting the ball to third base are you able to move this runner, but Charters, as you see, no one's covering second base, so Charters was able to get a huge lead and makes it easily into third base. You see how far off she is? And she is easily able to dive right into third base.
Boy, it really looked, Jessica, as if they could have gotten her in a rundown if there was somebody able to sneak in behind her, but couldn't.
And that was the key, second base. If she had been there, I mean, she was way off the bag, and you know, she knew it. She kind of started to go back, but there was nothing they could do. No one was there covering, and makes it for an easy advance.
Good base running by Charters, and now the Straps, who singled in the first inning. The senior from Mission Viejo. She was at the Women's College World Series as a freshman. Was an All-American a couple years ago. Checking the runner is Patton in time at first. 2 down. Well, the NCAA Women's College World Series continues on ESPN as the 7-seed Arizona State takes on the 2-seed Northwestern. That's coming up today at 3 Eastern. The NCAA Women's College World Series presented on ESPN by Dick's Sporting Goods today at 3 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. If you're not near a TV, ESPN360.com has live streaming of every game of the Women's College World Series for you as well. If you don't have ESPN360.com, call your internet service provider on how to get it. And that is drilled deep to left. Dina Tyson, gone! The 2-run home run for Tyson, her 18th of the season, and Washington goes on top 2-1.
We talked early in this game about the leadership and power of Dina Tyson. She's been to the College World Series before. She knows what it takes, and her numbers have gone up tremendously this year. And this is when it matters. You see Audax giving her an inside pitch, and she knows as soon as she hits it, that ball is gone.
The first team All-American sends it deep. Her first home run since April 29th. And a big shot.
And what a way to respond to the 1 run that DePaul got in the top of the inning. That's the true test, is you need to be able to score immediately after the opposing team does to show them that you're not down, that emotionally you're ready to fight back, and that you're not giving up.
And now how will Tracy Audax respond to the first runs that she has allowed in this NCAA tournament? Did not give up an earned run through the first 23 innings she's pitched in this postseason. And there's the home run ball, looks like, for Dad Marty. It all started for Dina when Marty built a batting cage in the backyard of their home back in Corona, California, and father and daughter would take swings together. That's a big home run ball right there.
I talked a lot about Onyx trying to really use her changeup and mix speeds a little bit, and you're seeing these Washington hitters really catch up. I think that should be something she should try to mix in there, because they, especially now with 2 hits this inning, are really getting on her timing.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Marty Tyson has been a huge part of Dina's career. In fact, last April, he sat her down. They went to McDonald's after a game that was disappointing, and he said, look, Dina, your career has not been what you wanted it to be, and I believe it's because you're not setting your goals high enough. You're afraid to fail. You're afraid to get out of your comfort zone. So right then and there in McDonald's, on a napkin, they wrote down her goals for her senior season. It was to be all Pac-10, All-American, and to lead her team back to the College World Series. She notched her final goal last night when she was named first-team All-American. And guys, it was just because her dad, Marty, pushed her harder to set higher goals for herself, and she accomplished them.
Terrific story, Holly. There's got to be some free French fries involved in that.
I know.
On the McDonald's napkin.
I hope they still have it, because that thing should be framed.
With the home run ball, perhaps, in the Tyson household.
You can see her dad on the cell phone with, I'm sure, lots of family and friends back home.
Infield pop-up. Shea Warren's got it. Side is retired, but not before the big swing from senior Dina. Tyson going deep, and Marty watches as the Huskies take the lead. 2-1, Washington with the lead over DePaul on the Tyson 2-run home run. Let's check in now with Holly Rowe.
Coach Tarr, after DePaul went up 1-0, you called a timeout and took your team to the circle. What did you say to them at that point?
Well, we just needed to slow things down and, make sure we could collect ourselves and be ready for them to run on us, because they like to run and do crazy things, so we just had to slow it down a little bit.
Dina struck out her first at-bat. How do you describe her second?
Nice job.
How much life does this give you guys back?
It just, obviously it equalizes things a little bit, and we got to play the game right now.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, Dina Tyson with her 18th home run of the season. The 2-run shot to left, and they respond right after DePaul had scored in the top half of the inning.
I think that's a great job of doing adjustments as well. We talked about Onyx loving to come inside of these hitters, and Tyson striking out on that pitch, her previous at bat, as Holly Rowe alluded to, and to be able to come back, make that adjustment, look for it, and hit it out of the park. Pretty impressive.
An amazing turnaround for Dina. 16 home runs last year, and now 16 home runs through her first 3 seasons combined. And now 18 this year. Marcy Willis, 3, 4, and 5 will lead things off. 0-1 to Willis. Marcy struck out in the first. She's been clutch the last few weeks of the season. We asked her about it yesterday. She said, hey, I'm one of the veterans of this team. I realized I needed to step my game up and to help carry my team to the Women's College World Series. She's done just that. Off speed in there at 57 miles per hour. You can keep an eye on the speed of the pitches from time to time. We'll have them for you up on our scoreboard there in the upper left-hand part of your screen. 2-2 the count now to Marcy. Comes back with the gas. Her 4th strikeout of the day. The NCAA Women's College World Series continues tonight at 7 Eastern with Tennessee taking on Texas A&M, and then number 9 Baylor takes on Arizona. For more information on the 2007 Women's College World Series, go to ncaasports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. The Bears are actually the 8th seed here at the Women's College World Series, and boy, are they fun to watch. They steal a ton of bases. and are looking to give Arizona all they can handle. They'd actually took 2 of 3 from the Wildcats when they met during the regular season in Waco.
And you could hear a little bit of that determination in their voices that they want a rematch. What a better time to do it.
That first game features quite a pitcher's duel. Amanda Scarborough at Texas A&M, and then Monica Abbott, the NCAA career wins and strikeout leader all time, will take the circle for the Lady Vols. 3rd place finishes the last 2 years in a row for Tennessee, trying to advance farther this time around. Teruli Fisher popped up to first base in her first at-bat. Two-one pitch. Teruli Fisher launches this out to deep center, and Hansen is under it 2 away. For those of you following along with the Tennessee story, by the way, the latest update on India Childs, who has an ACL tear. It will be a game-time decision as to whether or not they can use Childs in one form or another, as a fielder, as a hitter, as a pinch runner. It will be a game-time decision on India, the All-America, who is trying to come back rapidly from an ACL tear that happened just a couple weeks ago.
She leads their team offensively in many categories, so I think having her in the lineup, if she's able to go, will be a huge boost for Tennessee.
Sheik's a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. DePaul's run came in the top of the 3rd. They generated it without a hit, and it came from the bottom of their order. Stephanie Blagage scoring it. That one's fouled into the backstop.
Lawrie really doing a good job of mixing her pitches. I talked about her screw and her curve in and out to these hitters, throwing it hard, but she's also been going a lot with her rise and her drop, really mixing it up. But of course, it's that changeup that's gotten 3 of the 4 strikeouts for her in this game.
Waste that one away. Holly touched upon the fact that she had beaten Team USA here a couple years ago, and she said that really left no doubts, no questions in my mind that I could compete with the best in the world, and really gave her a relaxed feeling coming in here, familiar with this venue. Unfortunately for you, Jessica, you were on the losing side of that decision.
I remember the game.
Actually, so did Danielle. I believe she knew right away that you had gone 2 for 3 in that game.
Yeah, I didn't quite remember the game. I remember the loss, I think, more than anything. But she chimed in our interview right away. No, you got 2 hits, I remember. But I think for her, she's never pitched on this field as a collegiate player, but as a Canadian national team member, she's been on this mound. And I think as far as nerves go, you can be nervous pitching in an arena, especially with this kind of crowd that you've never been in before. But knowing that she pitched probably the game of her life from this mound will help her.
Another changeup and another strikeout. That's 5 for Lawrie, 3 up and 3 down. In the top of the 4th, 2-1, UW. We'll talk with Eugene Lenti when we come back. 2-1 Washington with the lead over DePaul thanks to the Tyson 2-run home run. Let's check in now with Holly Rowe.
Well, we're with DePaul coach Eugene Lenti. Coach, what pitch had you called on the home run?
We called it changeup because we knew she liked to go after the first pitch, so we just wanted it down a little bit more and in a lot more. So, you know, we hung it a little bit, and she's a great hitter. That's what she's going to do with it.
How does this change your strategy to pitch to Tyson?
Well, we did a good job the first time. We threw her all hard. We didn't show her any changeup. So, you know, we've shown her the changeup. She's hit it obviously very well. So we have to stay away from it a little bit now.
All right, ixnay on the changeup, right?
Right, exactly.
Thanks.
Thank you, Holly. Well, the scouting report, Eugene Lenti has a wonderful way with words. And, you know, when he describes Tracy Ottix, he says, when she throws up, we throw up. And she's got to keep the ball down, and that was the case on the home run ball. And Ottix is back out there in the circle. He also made a good comparison when talking about Ottix to Greg Maddux, which we've talked about, and a similar approach to the way they throw the ball. Otyx will be facing the bottom of the lineup, 7, 8, and 9 for UW. The numbers so far today on Tracy.
Number 12, Alicia Matthews.
3 strikeouts, 2 balls issued by Otyx. Last time she had more than 1 walk in a game was against Northwestern late in the regular season, a game which they lost 3-0. Matthews was able to reach on a fielder's choice her first time up. Was stranded at second base. Sophomore from Olympia, Washington, was homeschooled. Played some club softball. Developed an interest in the game. And has seen her production jump from her freshman now to her sophomore season. Her batting average up 25 points over what it was a year ago. Fouled into the stands here at Hall of Fame Stadium.
Matthews knows a little bit about clutch hitting. She got the game-winning single in the bottom of the 7th in the IF game last weekend of the Super Regionals against Georgia. So even though she's a little bit further down the lineup, she's definitely been clutch when Washington has needed her most.
On deck is Ashlyn Watson. Full count. Fouled almost off our cameraman down there along the third base line. Another foul ball from Matthews. This the first of our quadruple header today in Oklahoma City. The winner of this one will take on the winner of Northwestern Arizona State. That game coming up next here on ESPN. And then 2 more tonight. All of the games today can be seen live on ESPN HD. Tonight, it's Texas A&M taking on Tennessee. The Aggies are back at the Women's College World Series for the first time in 20 years. They are 2-time national champions, and then Baylor's here for the first time ever, taking on the defending champs from Arizona. Shea Warren makes the play at short, 1 down.
And talking with Coach Tarr, one of the things she says the biggest difference between last year and this year for the team has been the amount of strikeouts. The strikeouts have gone down tremendously this year, and she credits a lot of that to the vision training that they've been doing. They've been working with volunteer assistant coach Michelle Thierry and her partner Tom Davidson on basically a tennis ball that shoots out of this machine about 130 miles an hour, and this tennis ball has numbers in different colors, so either red or black, 1s, 3s, 5, whatever it might be, and you have to be able to detect not only the color but possibly the number as this ball is flying by you. And Washington hitters have really bought into it, and the strikeouts have gone down. She did say that the home runs did go down a lot. She says, I think the girls were just taking hacks at stuff they weren't seeing, and now they're seeing a lot better, and even though the home runs have gone down, she'd rather have not a lot of strikeouts, so at least they're putting the ball in play.
1-1 now, the count to Watson. 2-1. Tracy Otyx, one of just a few players from outside of the state of Illinois playing for DePaul. One of the nice things about playing in the Women's College World Series is you can take your recruiting nationwide, and that's what Lenti has been able to do. Both his pitchers, Otyx from Washington and Becca Heteniak from California. DePaul, a much more recognizable name now on the college softball scene. Full count to Watson. A lot of foul balls for the Huskies in the early going, really making Otyx work.
And Audex is known more for really making her defense work. She relies a lot on the strength of her defense, knowing that, you know, she's primarily drop balls, so they're going to be hitting a lot of ground balls, but not even so much going for the strikeout all the time, just looking for them to put it in play.
That one's jacked to deep left. Back and gone, Watson. Sending it over the fence. Second home run of the day for the Huskies, and they go on top 3-1. Ashland's second home run of the season.
We talked about nerves and excitement for a lot of these teams coming into some of the biggest games of their careers. Well, Watson, who is normally not a home run hitter, uses every nerve and every ounce of excitement to hit this ball out of the park.
She only had one home run prior all year. That's the number 8 hitter sending it out for the Huskies. They are getting to Tracy Audex here in game 1 of our quadruple header today. And now Audex needs to settle down, facing Nicole Moyen, struck out looking back in the second inning. And the walk issued by Audex, that is the 3rd of the game for Tracy. And Gene Lenti will make a pitching change, and he's calling for Heteniak to come in from the bullpen. Washington knocking out starting pitcher Tracy Audex with a couple of long balls. 3-1, Huskies with the pitching change. We'll take a timeout. Back here in Oklahoma City, 3-1. Washington with the lead over DePaul as Tracy Audex looks on from the dugout. 3 1/3 innings of work, 5 hits, 3 runs in for the Huskies. Replaced by Becca Heteniak, and now Heather Tarr is out to talk with the first base umpire, Brian Smith. Heteniak on in relief here in the bottom of the 4th. And what a moment to come on as the top of the order comes back around. And the base runner is headed back over to the dugout. Nicole Moyen, who got on board with a walk. And the discussion, we're checking to see if the base runner left the bag early and was called out.
Looks like
didn't look like it from that replay.
The umpire definitely made a motion that she was out, but I mean, she took about a 3-foot lead. It didn't look like she left early.
So Moyen called out over at first base for the second out, and so now the bases are empty for Charters. Grounded to third and then doubled and scored in the 3rd inning on the Tyson home run. Charters can't keep up with it. Heteniak gets the strikeout to end the inning. But 8-hitter Ashlyn Watson, her second deep ball of the season. The solo shot makes it 3-1 Washington. Welcome back to Oklahoma City. Ashlyn Watson with the solo home run in the bottom of the 4th to give Washington the 3-1 lead over DePaul. The Blue Demons still looking for their first hit off of Danielle Lawrie, who has been terrific in the circle so far for the Huskies. Lawrie will face 6, 7, and 8 in the lineup. And she'll start off against the new relief pitcher, Becca Heteniak, a .240 hitter on the season. The Big East Conference Rookie of the Year and an all Big East first team selection out of Northridge, California.
We've talked a lot about Lawrie's changeup, and one of the biggest things about her changeup, it's a little bit different, is it has a lot of rotation on it. Usually changeups tend to be very still, not rotate a lot, but hers has a lot of that. It actually moves a little bit down, so it kind of fools hitters because it looks like a moving fast pitch, and instead it's more of an off speed rather than a changeup, because it isn't as slow as a changeup, but it's definitely a lot slower than the fast stuff she throws.
Hetiniak grounded out to third base her first time up. Lawrie thus far has struck out 5, 4 of those on changeups. 1-2 to Hetiniak. Fouled out of play. Another nice effort by the fans here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Somebody wants the softball. Hey, Dad's saying, give her the softball. Hetiniak watches strike 3. K victim number 6 for Lawrie.
Lawrie throwing her curveball, just getting right here on the outside part of the plate. Great location, especially with 2 strikes. And I think Hetiniak was hoping umpire was not going to call this pitch. And we've talked about the DePaul hitters being a little bit further off the plate, especially their righties. And that curveball, if Lawrie can get it called, is going to work all day long, because those DePaul hitters probably won't be able to reach it.
4 1/3 innings of work so far. 6 strikeouts. She has not given up a hit. Her career high, in case you're wondering, is 20. A Washington record, 20 strikeouts in 1 game. She's done it twice this year. Linda Sika walked in the 3rd. Again, ahead in the count, 0-2. Lays off that one upstairs. Couple of home runs leading the way for Washington. Dina Tyson and Ashlyn Watson after DePaul had jumped on top 1-0. Fouled out of play by Sika.
The center fielder for DePaul was joking with us yesterday after practice. It was raining here in Oklahoma City, and she came head to toe covered in water. She was talking about how the outfielders we're not letting the rain deter them at all. They at first were kind of getting annoyed. The ball was splattering. They're getting wet and muddy, and then at some point they realized, you know what, we're gonna get wet no matter what. Let's have fun with this. So they created a bit of a slip and slide out on the grass in the outfield, and head to toe mud and water, and had some fun with it.
These 2 teams have to deal with the elements all year long in Seattle and Chicago. Undeterred by a little rain that was falling yesterday. The local forecast calling for a chance of rain all weekend, but a terrific day so far in Oklahoma City. And another strikeout for Lawrie. For more on her improvement, here's Holly Rowe.
Well, Danielle Lawrie is just a sophomore, and she said that she's already noticed a big improvement in her pitching this season. She said she's always had the physical tools, but it's taken her to get the confidence that she can get hitters out. She said, I'm challenging hitters more, and I've got more confidence in my ability. She also said the biggest change in going from Canadian softball to pitching in the U.S. and college has been location, location, location. She's really had to learn not to use just firepower, but placement to get hitters out here.
Real estate a little different south of the border, and the foul ball kicks back up at Blaggage.
See, this is a moving pitch up, and Blaggage just gets under it, and it ricochets, looks like off of her mouth. Maybe her cheek and a little bit of her mouth. With Lawrie's speed, That cannot feel good.
Training staff out there checking out the mouth right now. Blaggage, who had reached on a fielder's choice, then stole a base in the third inning, came around to score DePaul's run back in the third.
And you see this pitch, rise ball moving up in the zone. Just gets right off her bat, directly into her mouth. You see a lot of hitters actually now go with a cage over with their helmet over their mouth. And usually you see a lot of slappers doing that because they're always trying to work different pitches and when they're bunting. But in this case, that's exactly why they wear it, is to prevent a ball hitting you in the face off of the bat.
Blaggage will get back into the batter's box, and we've got more softball coming your way from Oklahoma City with a doubleheader this afternoon, and then a doubleheader tonight starting at 7 Eastern. It's Tennessee and Texas A&M, followed by Baylor, Arizona. The NCAA Women's College World Series presented on ESPN by Dick's Sporting Goods tonight. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Day one, opening day in Oklahoma City. Blaggage, the bunt right back to Lawrie, takes her time, and in time. 3 up and 3 down again as Washington takes care of business with the 3-1 lead as we move to the bottom of the 5th. This ESPN production is available on ESPN HD, presented by Olivia. Oklahoma City at Hall of Fame Stadium, opening day of the 2007 Women's College World Series. Washington, behind the strength of Adina Tyson at an Ashlyn Watson home run, have the 3-1 lead over DePaul. They chased starting pitcher Tracy Oddix. Replacing her in the 4th inning was Becca Hiteniak, the freshman from Northridge, California, her first Women's College World Series appearance.
I'm talking with Lindsay Sherrard about Hiteniak, who's only a freshman, is that she does throw very hard, but that is not her greatest strength. She likes to work ahead of the count, and that's really her big key. If she can move the ball well and early, she's pretty much very hard to hit, according to their pitching coach. Plus, one of her big assets is that she likes to mix speeds. So she throws a huge repertoire of pitches, rise, drop, curve, screw, but they're all at different speeds. So I think this really for these hitters is going to keep them off balance, and even though she does throw hard, she has about 3-4 different speed pitches, so that they're not going to know what to swing at.
She's facing 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Koziel slaps that one foul. First time through for all these Washington hitters facing Hiteniak. She singled off of Oddix in the 1st, grounded to third base in the 3rd inning. And a strikeout for Becca. That's her 2nd. She struck out both that she has faced so far. 1 down.
Well, knowing that Oddix was a primarily drop-ball pitcher, coming down in the zone a lot, coming inside of these hitters, and the fact that Becca can really mix it up. We talked about speeds, but also pitches. Her go-tos are her rise and her drop. So it's going to be hard for these hitters to get on a plane, but then she'll go with her screw and her curve to go a little bit for left and right.
Oh, 1-1 to Lestrap, singled in the 1st, grounded to 3rd in the 2nd. Slap foul out of play. Dominique has had to overcome a handful of injuries over the course of her career. To her elbow, shoulder, ankle. Earlier this year, she got hit in the face, did not miss any games, but was on a liquid diet for a couple of weeks. And is strikeout victim number 3 now against Hiteniak, 2 down.
You see Dominique Lestrap's as she was going in the dugout, explain a little bit to Dina Tyson probably what Becca's throwing. Tina's probably coming in the batter's box. Okay, she just struck out the last 3 hitters. What's going on? What is she throwing? Give me something. Dominique, who her and Dina are best friends since they were, I think, 11 or 12 years old, real young, helping her out a little bit.
Tyson, a strikeout victim in the 1st, and as Holly Rowe reported for us, talking with Gene Lenti There were no change-ups in that mix of pitches, and then they did throw a change-up her second time up, and she sent it out. A 2-run home run in the third that put Washington on top.
Well, and I had talked about Audex trying to mix up speeds, and she did that. Apparently wasn't the best thing for her to do, but I think for her to at least show that changeup, unfortunately, Dina Tyson, being the hitter she was just ready to send it out of the park.
Called strike to Tyson, 2-1.
I think the big thing, if you see Lawrie's changeup and how good it is and how we've seen it in this game with Audex, she threw that changeup too hard. It was almost looked like one of her faster pitches, and I think for Tyson, she probably hit it just like it was a fast pitch. Didn't fool her at all.
Here is that home run back in the third on the off speed, and just a launch from Tyson over the left field fence.
Most times on changeups, if you're gonna hit it, you usually get fooled a little bit, maybe with your legs, and you can hit it still with your upper body. But with Tyson, she was on it the whole entire time, which either says she picked it, knew it was coming, or that it just wasn't slow enough.
Fans grabbed that home run ball out beyond the fence and got it to Dina's dad, Marty. And another strikeout. Heteniak striking out the first 4 she has faced on in relief. 3 up and 3 down. DePaul coming around, 9, and then the top of the order looking to get back in it. Welcome back to Oklahoma City and our Coke Zero game track. Washington with the 3-1 lead. The story in this game is down underneath that Washington headline. Lawrie has not allowed a hit, striking out 7, and Dina Tyson and Ashlyn Watson hitting home runs in the 3rd and 4th innings, respectively. Tyson's was a 2-run shot after DePaul had jumped out to the 1-0 lead. And for the Blue Demons, trying to get something going, set down in order in the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th innings. They scored their run in the 3rd, generating it without a hit. It's Shea Warren and then the top of the order. Beth Mowens, Jessica Mendoza, Holly Rowe, glad you could be with us this afternoon. Opening day in Oklahoma City. Arizona State and Northwestern coming up next. The winner of that one will take on the winner of this game tomorrow night. Got another doubleheader coming your way this evening on ESPN, which features the #1 seed and the 7-time national champion Arizona Wildcats, with All-Americans Caitlin Lowe and Taryn Mowat. One-two to Shea Warren. Tried to lay down the bunt.
Shea Warren talked about how she was a right-handed hitter her whole entire career until this year. So Coach Lenny decided to switch around to the left side because she has that athleticism. She's got some speed. She's really just, this is her first year trying to be a slapper, just trying to put the ball in play and really make the most of it. And I think for this team, really just table setting for the top of the lineup.
Popped up foul. Warren, one of 5 underclassmen in the starting lineup for the Blue Demons this year. So Lenti been doing a lot of coaching, a lot of teaching this season. Always seems to have his teams playing their best softball in the postseason. Warren fans on it. That's strikeout number 8 for Danielle Lawrie. 1 down. The NCAA Women's College World Series continues tonight at 7 Eastern. It's Tennessee and Texas A&M. Then at 9, Baylor will take on Arizona. For more information on the 2007 Women's College World Series, go to ncaasports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. Top of the order now, Sandy Vojic. Flew out to right field in the 1st inning, struck out in the 3rd. Vojic has 3 home runs in the last few weeks, including a grand slam in their regional. Oh-2 the count. We've been saying that a lot for Danielle Lawrie. She has jumped ahead of hitters all afternoon. One-two to Vojic. Waits on that. Making the play over at third. There's Moyen, 2 down. Let's check in now with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, finally Danielle Lawrie's dad, Russ, got here. What have you gone through to get here this morning from British Columbia?
Well, started last night in Seattle with U.S. Air, and they just made some mistakes along the way. They weren't able to get us where we needed to be on time. So we wound up in Vegas and late at night and couldn't even go out and have any fun. It was that late. So.
How stressed have you been this morning knowing she was already on the mound?
Pretty much. As you see it, it is.
Well, if it's any consolation, she's been brilliant so far.
I'll tell you what, talk to me when this is over because we've got a long way to go yet. We'll get this thing done.
All right, Dad came here with his game face on, guys. He came right in, he sat down where she could see him, and he's been yelling loudly so she knows he's here.
And Lawrie forces the pop-up. Moyen's got it. Another 3 up and 3 down inning for the sophomore from Canada. 3-1, UW. Back here in Oklahoma City on opening day of the 2007 Women's College World Series. Game 1 of our quadruple header today on ESPN. 3-1, Washington with the lead over DePaul. They've hit a couple of home runs, and Danielle Lawrie has been terrific in the circle. Has struck out 8 and has not allowed a hit yet. And the Huskies will try and add to it as we move to the bottom of the 6th. Jessica Evans is in at second base for the Blue Demons. Jean Lenti making a defensive adjustment. 5, 6, and 7 now in the order for the Huskies. Lauren Greer grounded out in the first inning, walked in the third. Facing Heteniak for the first time. On in relief, Becca has struck out all 4 Huskies that she's faced.
Well, in Heteniak, they kind of joke about her sort of whatever attitude. She has fun on the mound. She balances it well. As you can see, she's intense and ready to go, but at the same time, she knows how to have fun, kind of let loose a little bit, and that's been part of the reason why she's been so successful.
Real laid-back Californian. In fact, that is her email address. Whatever is her name. Huskies are getting it going right now in the dugout. They're enjoying the 3-1 lead. Greer did not go around on the swing. Becca, no hits, no runs, no nothing but strikeouts so far. After Oddix had given up the Tyson home run in the third and then the Watson home run in the fourth. One more home run, by the way, would tie a World Series record for the most in a single game from one team. Greer chases the rise. 5 strikeouts in a row for Heteniak.
I'll tell you what, this is Becca's Heteniak's first World Series appearance, and look at her go. That is a mean moving rise ball, and she throws the ball hard, and it starts a little bit out of the zone, which looks kind of meaty, kind of about chest high. Greer thought maybe stay on top of that, and it just moved about 3 inches above.
So now it's the pitcher, Danielle Lawrie, walked in the second and popped up to short in the third inning. Danielle not only pitching well in the postseason, but hitting the ball well with a home run, 6 runs driven in so far in the NCAA tournament before arriving here in Oklahoma City.
Coach Sherrard talking about Becca Heteniak also is their goals in the postseason. she's very hard on herself, and to just expect more, you know, really just have that attitude that you are going to be able to be successful and you're going to be able to do what you need to do in the postseason. And she let her know she's been there herself for DePaul, just how different it is in the postseason.
Lindsay Chenard and Liz Bauk, the two assistant coaches, both former DePaul players, both All-Americans, and both played with the Blue Demons in the 2000 Women's College World Series. They have started to develop quite a tradition in Chicago. Some of the best softball in the country with both DePaul and Northwestern here. Straightaway center field, Linda Seek has got a beat on it, 2 down. First Husky hitter to make contact off of Fatiniak. Put it in play.
Now batting in catcher number 12.
I think Lawrie, being a pitcher herself, was like, hey, all right, I know what you got. Not gonna fool me. She hit that drop ball pretty hard to center.
Fatiniak had struck out 5 in a row before that, and now Alicia Matthews reached on a fielder's choice, grounded to short. Matthews used to follow around her 2 older brothers who both played baseball. That's how she got started into softball. One of those older brothers is a pitcher in the minor leagues. She's a homegrown talent, said she always wanted to play for the Huskies. Both these clubs, DePaul's got a lot of Illinois kids, and Washington, 13 players on their roster from the Pacific Northwest, drawing from the states of Washington, Oregon, and of course Lawrie from Canada. Shea Warren will give way to the left fielder Sheeks. 3 up and 3 down. Last chance coming up for DePaul against Danielle Lawrie and the Washington Huskies with the 3-1 lead. Washington the lead over DePaul as we move to the top of the 7th inning. Let's take a look at our Pontiac game-changing performance. And it was Dina Tyson in the 3rd inning going deep off of Tracy Onyx. Dad says, yeah, that's the way you do it. A 2-run shot to give the Huskies the 2-1 lead. Ashlyn Watson would tag on another home run to make it 3-1. So Tyson with her 18th home run. And the other developing story is in the circle right now, and the goose egg on the scoreboard for DePaul. They are without a hit here in the top of the 7th. Danielle Lawrie working on what would be the first no-hitter at the World Series in 4 years. She has struck out 8. The 1 run coming back in the 3rd inning off of a walk, a stolen base, a fielder's choice, and a throwing error.
For these DePaul hitters to get on the board, they're going to need to make some adjustments, and I think the biggest adjustment for them is the changeup. On Marcy Willis alone, who's leading off this inning, Lawrie has thrown her at least 2 changeups per at bat. So I think the idea, since she has struggled with the changeup, is to possibly look for it. Wait for the changeup. You know she's going to give it to you. She has in the past. With less than 2 strikes, maybe sit on it, and because it's not moving a whole ton and it's coming a little bit slower, maybe you can do something with it.
1 career no-hitter. That came last year. It was a perfect game for DePaul. This is the part of their order they want up, 3, 4, and 5. They are 0-6 against Danielle today with 4 strikeouts. Two-two pitch. Fouled back into the cage.
You think as a player, Jessica, when somebody's
think for a lot of these DePaul hitters, as much as Lawrie's aware of the no-hitter, I think that DePaul is just as much aware. And as a hitter going in the box knowing this pitcher hasn't even allowed a hit against this team, I mean, you get a little upset, you know, a little bit determination there. Just, you know what, let's just shorten this game, simplify it. We haven't even gotten a hit yet. Let's do something, put the ball in play and make something happen and not try to make it bigger than it is.
Foul ball down the third baseline. What makes this even more impressive for Lawrie is the fact that DePaul had outscored the opposition in the NCAA tournament 25-2. I mean, they were lighting people up en route to this Women's College World Series. And they have been shut down so far today. Willis off the end of her bat. Moyen's got it in foul territory, one down.
When Coach Lenti with his offense is known not so much for the power and the big hits that you see from Washington, but rather what they do in advancing the runners once they get them on base. You saw that back in the third inning, how they had a leadoff walk that got moved over and then an error. I mean, they really utilize the runners they have on, and that's what they have to do this inning, is just get people on base so Coach Lenti can do what he does best, be aggressive and move the runners.
Jackie Terulli-Fisher stepping in. Even though this is opening day and it's a double elimination tournament, winning your first game is critical to your future success. Look at that, only 2 teams have lost their first game of the series and come all the way back through the loser's bracket to win a national championship through the first 25 years of this tournament. Just A&M in '87 and UCLA did it in '03. So you lose today, you are really facing an uphill battle. Terulli-Fisher popped up in the second, flew out to center field in the fourth. One-two, got her inside with it. 2 down, that's strikeout number 9 for Lawrie. No-hitters don't happen very often here at the Women's College World Series. In fact, you have to go back to 2003. Kira Garrow did it in the championship game, beating Cal in 9 innings. And Danielle Lawrie 1 out away from the no-no with her dad fresh from his drive in from the airport, making it on time to watch. Kate Sheeks, the senior, the last chance for the Blue Demons. Struck out in the second, struck out in the fourth. The no-hitter for Danielle Lawrie and a 3-1 win over DePaul. The first no-hitter in 4 years at the Women's College World Series. Fueled by 2 home runs, the Huskies with a win over DePaul, 3-1.
A lot of times that's credited to the pitcher for the amount of strikeouts that she had, but the defense is also what should be credited in this game, and it cannot be perfectly ended with Moyen in this perfect catch down the line drive. Lawrie is fired up. What a way to start the World Series.
The no-hitter from Danielle Lawrie leading the way for Washington. Terrific defensive play at third base from Moyen. And they bottle up the Blue Demons and take the opener of our quadruple header today. 3-1, the final score. What a job by Lawrie to really use that changeup, so effective today.
And that is her go-to pitch. It's no secret that Lawrie uses her changeup, but it's really the pitches she used to set it up. I mean, she doesn't just go with one pitch hard. And we saw today from her a good screwball, a good curve, a good rise, and a good drop, and all of those allowed then her to come back with the change.
So Washington moves on, a winner's bracket game tomorrow night against either Arizona State or Northwestern. The Sun Devils and the Wildcats, our second game here today, coming up next on ESPN. DePaul falls into the losers bracket. They will have to win twice on Saturday and twice on Sunday now to advance into the championship series. 3-1 the final, Washington over DePaul on the Lawrie no-hitter. Let's go to the NCAA championship studio with Dave Revson.
Danielle Lawrie from Washington opens the World Series with a no-hitter. You've played on this field before, but what was different when you took the rubber today?
Nothing really. I just tried to go out there with the same attitude I did when I came here in the past, and I knew the team was going to get it done offensively for me even when we went down. And that's what I love about this team. We can come out and I know Alicia's going to call a great game for me, and I know that the hitters are going to be there even if we get down. So it's great being a pitcher, able to go out there with that much confidence in your team.
What pitches were working for you the best today?
All of them. It was we had a good mix. The change was working good, and we had the rise and the curve. Everything kind of just fell into place.
Your dad was on a long odyssey just to even get here. When did you see him in the crowd, and how did it make you feel?
As soon as I saw a big guy come down in a black shirt, and I was like, oh gosh, my dad's here. And then I just got the biggest smile on my face, and I was like, he got through a lot of trouble with his plane and everything to get here, and it means a lot that he's here.
How much does it give you as far as confidence to open the World Series with the shutout to move forward?
So much. Like I said before, having that confidence as a pitcher going out there, knowing your team can get it done offensively and working good with the catcher, that just is opening great doors for us for the rest of the tournament. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, thanks very much. Danielle Lawrie, a shutout in her first appearance.